Are you officially an Angelino now?
A what?
Angelino from Los Angeles? 'Cause I know you have like Chicago roots, right?
Oh, see, I'm clearly not because I didn't even know what that was.
The term, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm coming up in September. That means I've been here for 4 years. But it's crazy because I feel like I grew up here and I have more support in California and in LA than I do in my hometown, which is kind of sad. But I feel like that's how it always works for everybody.
Right.
It's weird, but a lot of people are surprised when they find out I'm even from Chicago because I never really talk about it, but I think I've transferred over.
Right. I don't hear the Bears.
No, but when I say Chicago, they're like,
I hear it.
That. I'm like, oh, okay.
I lived in New York for like 18 years.
Oh, really?
Because I'm 40 now, so mine is old New York, where there wasn't much gentrification.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you say even the Asians are different, like in the East Coast?
There's not even a lot of Asians in my hometown or where I was around. And then I didn't realize how many Filipinos. I mean, because I am Filipino, so then I see all these Filipinos, and then they have the Filipino restaurants and the grocery stores. So I feel like I have a lot of home as in Philippines, but I like it. It's definitely different here. I don't see myself ever moving back home.
So you are officially an Angelino now.
Yeah, well now I know that term because I definitely didn't know that term. So yeah.
So do you have like any more ties and lineages to like are you officially like a Laker fan now?
Oh no. I'm sad. I'm sad because the Bulls didn't even make it to the playoffs. So that was really sad. But I mean, I feel like if I had to pick between whether it's Clippers, Lakers, or Golden State, I mean, it's the Warriors. I'm just a fan of Steph Curry and his family more than I am of basketball. So I feel like I'm migrating to that. But I'll always be a Bulls fan. I'm just really sad that they didn't make it, and it doesn't look bright for them. But it's okay. Right.
So when it comes to representing yourself, are there a lot of stipulated Chicago-ness behind it?
Yeah, so I love Chicago, and that will always be home. And I love saying I'm from Chicago. I feel like LA's home now, so I guess I'll be what do you call it? Angelino.
Angelino.
I'm an
yes.
Angelino now, and not a Chicagoan.
And then when you go back, do you get that feeling of like, I should find and push for a career here, or are you pretty happy?
No.
So it feels like the small town thing when you go back.
Yeah. It's weird because I always told myself I'll never leave Chicago, but then I ended up leaving spontaneously, and now there's nothing to go back for. I mean, other than I love that my family's there, but I'm very close with my cousins and, my brother, my parents, my aunts, and my uncles, but everyone's getting older and everyone's going their separate ways, that it's kind of like, okay, the only thing at home now, I mean, once my parents retire and then they go to the Philippines or wherever they decide to retire,
sure,
the only thing that I would say would be left is Portillo's, because that's the best food spot, but they have a Portillo's an hour away from here, and I drive there to get it.
Just to make it out. So are you pretty big foodie?
Yes.
Yeah, because Chicago is beating, or it's matching New York's white linen scene.
Yeah. Now. Yeah, so I eat a lot of junk food, though, and I'm working on that.
Well,
to be better.
You don't have issues with metabolism.
Maybe in a couple years I will, because it's bad. It's really bad. So that's what I'm working on.
Right. I mean, with the opportunity of moving to LA through hip hop news.
I didn't have a job when I moved out here. I literally moved with, I worked for Hot New Hip Hop, but it was per interview. But when I was like, hey, I'm going to move to LA, they're like, oh, it'll be the same pay, but that was per interview. But then when I moved out here that weekend, the owner of Hot New Hip Hop called me and was like, hey, is this Jen? I'm like, who is this? Because I didn't know who it was. Long story short, he said, I've been watching all the correspondence that we brought on in all the different cities.
Sure.
And he's like, you're the only one who didn't ask us for help, but you booked more interviews than we did. And I was hoping you were looking for a full-time job. But he probably wouldn't have offered that until I got to LA, because I knew in my heart, I knew that was something I needed to do. So that was my leap of faith. So I literally drove here with no plan. And then it ended up working out like that weekend. And I didn't know that was going to happen. Was
it a difficult decision? Because sometimes the comfort of home, it makes it easier to stay. But I'm sensing that you wanted to tip out.
Well, like I said, I always said I'll never leave Chicago because this is where I started my career and that's where my family is. But when I came to LA in May 2012, I did an interview with I did one with Charles Michael Davis, who is an actor. That was one I had scheduled for. Then I did one with Kayla Brianna, who's Kenny Smith's daughter. And it was Kayla's manager at the time that actually planted the seed in my head to move to LA, because he's like, what is it that you want to do? I said, I want to have my own show. He's like, then why are you in Chicago? And I was like, I didn't really have an answer for that. He's like, everybody's here. If you're doing that much at home, imagine how much you could do here where everybody is. So I was on my way home in a train, and I started praying about it and was like, okay, God, for some reason I feel like I'm supposed to move. Maybe I'm like, so for whatever reason, I feel like I need to make that decision now. I'm like, so can you just give me a sign if I'm supposed to like stay home like I always planned my whole life, or do I move? So then I got off the train. I'm just walking on the street, and then I see this homeless lady screaming at everyone walking past her and like throwing stuff at them, and I'm like, I do not want to pass her. So I tried to cross to the other street, but then another train came, so I was stuck walking by her. And then when I walked by her, I'm like, don't look, but you know when you tell people don't look and then you tell yourself not to look and you end up looking? Absolutely. Totally made eye contact with her, and as soon as I did, she said, follow your passion, and it was in this like gremlin creepy voice. And then I just stopped, and then I turned around, and she was so far away, and my best friend James was with me at the time, and he's like, what did she just say to you? So I wasn't crazy, because my friend heard her say something to me, and for her to say follow your passion and you're a stranger, and I just asked God for some kind of sign, I took that as, okay, I guess that's my sign. So I got back to the hotel, called my parents, and I'm like, I'm moving to LA. And they're like, okay, when are you moving? And I said, I guess September, because that's when Chris goes to school, and Chris is my brother, and I just wanted to be there for the summer. So I just started packing up my stuff all throughout the summer, applied for jobs, didn't get any of them. Like, no one like called me back. Yeah. And then I literally drove with my dad and my other best friend Kai, and then we just drove to LA, and then I just found a random apartment, and then Hot New Hip Hop called me that weekend. And I was actually supposed to work at Aldo's Shoes, because I used to be a manager there when I was in high school and college. Okay. So I went there, I'm like, well, I need some kind of income, because getting paid per interview wasn't going to cover my expenses. So the girl at Aldo in Burbank was like, yeah, we're looking for a manager, so if you want the job, come in. And then when I was going to come in, that's when Sorrow, the owner of Hot New Hip Hop, called me while like I was literally about to drive over there. He's like, are you busy? He's like, I need to talk to you. I'm like, no, I'm not busy, even though I had to be at Aldo to sign this paperwork. And then he offered me that job. So then I was good, like, ever since then. But it was definitely a leap of faith. Just go see what happens and just do it.
So there wasn't any resistance at all from your parents?
No.
It was full support?
No, my parents are the most supportive, which is crazy, because the Filipino culture, especially parents, are known for, you know, they want your kids to be in the medical field. Yeah. And it's just, they're like, whatever. Like, they said, if that's what you want to do, like, do it. So they never stopped me. And I mean, they see it now, like, oh, okay, that was a smart move.
That's interesting, because for my era, because I'm 40, you know, it really is pushed towards a suit and a tie, or something with a white coat, right? You know, it's that way you can financially support yourself.
Yeah.
Do you find that in your generation, you're 25 years old? Yeah. Like, the hustle is automatically more for millennials?
I wouldn't even say for millennials. I think my work ethic alone came from seeing my parents' work ethic. Like, my parents work so hard, so I just always saw that. So I think that was a part of it. And then I just wanted it so bad that I knew what I wanted to do since I was a kid. So I always had a plan of, here's what I do next, ever since I was in high school. So I was just so addicted to it that once things started to come together, that's all I could think about. So then I just kept working and working and working, and that's literally all I do. I don't leave my house unless it's for work.
Sure.
And now to watch How to Get Away with Murder. So that's about it.
Thank God for on-demand centricity, right? Where you can just, like, binge watch.
Yeah, I'm totally binge watching for the rest of it till I finish it, because it's that good.
Don't you feel like do you feel the Netflix model for, like, on-demand centricity is going to compete with live watching?
Yeah, I think it already has. I mean, I don't even have cable, because all my stuff is on Hulu or Netflix or whatever it is. So I just have Apple TV, and that's because I don't even watch TV like that. But now that I have this show, I'm always stuck on one series, and then that's what I'm watching. So I finished up. Scandal was off, and then I'm like, okay, I have nothing else to watch on TV. But then my cousin's like, you need to watch How to Get Away with Murder, and then randomly I decided to watch it a couple days ago, and now I'll be doing that until I finish, and then after that I don't know what I'm gonna watch.
Right.
So
Do you think that applies with radio? Because after working, would it be classified as a webzine, the hip hop outlet that you worked for?
Hot New Hip Hop?
Yeah.
No, they're just a blog. So they're very big. They're like one of the number one hip hop sites. So
when you matriculate to Ski, what was that an opportunity that was presented due to being?
Yeah. So I met Ski because I interviewed him for Hot New Hip Hop. And then that was the time Ski just got his deal for his TV show. And I asked them if we could do behind the scenes interviews with their guests for Hot New Hip Hop, and it was a cross promotion thing. But then that turned into them finding out I wanted to do more TV work, and then it was hard because Hot New Hip Hop was based in Montreal, so I was the only LA rep, their only US rep actually. So it was hard because I was working from home, and even though people would love to work from home, it kind of sucked because it was like, well, literally my only communication with anyone in this world is just through email or through phone because I just moved here and I didn't really know anyone.
Right.
So then when Ski came about, I loved that team so much because it was such a big team and it was like family. So then I was at a point where I had to pick between one or the other, but I went with Ski because it was in LA and then it was more in line with what I wanted to do with TV versus for just online and a website. So then I went to Ski, and then that's what happened with that. So.
With Ski, do you feel it's a good balance of both millennial and like older people based, or is it? Would you say it's younger generation based?
I think it's still younger generation, but Ski has been in the game for so long.
Absolutely.
That so it works for both. But I think it's definitely still younger. But he's just he's not stuck in one niche. Even the show now, it's not just hip hop. Now they have more pop, and then they have different people. Whereas Hot New Hip Hop, and then even the company I was with before, Go Where Hip Hop, it was hip hop. So it was I never thought I was going to end up in hip hop because I'm not even a big hip hop head or whatever, but I just ended up in that category. But now I'm focused on getting people outside of music and doing those kind of interviews because I feel like I know all of the hip hop people and I've interviewed all of them at least 6 times. So I'm like, if I need something from Snoop, Wiz, whoever it is, that's easy because I've already built those relationships, and now I want to build a new relationships with the people I haven't interviewed yet.
What genre of music were you into?
Pop.
I
mean, I like hip hop. Like, I mean, I love Eminem, Big Sean, Kanye, J. Cole, Kendrick, but not to the point where there's like hardcore hip hop heads that know all the history.
Like Backpackers.
Like when I watched Straight Outta Compton, I didn't know any of that story. So when I watched the movie, I was so interested in it. But if I were to say that, I mean, I don't care if people hear it. But if I were to go out and say I knew nothing about Straight Outta Compton, I've interviewed some of the people that were the real characters of that movie, and then it's just. So if I were to say I didn't know anything about any of that, people would be like, that's impossible because you work in hip hop. How do you not know that? But that's what it is. I didn't know this was going to happen. It was just kind of, I wanted to start interviewing people, and then hip hop was just the easier,
that was available.
Mm-hmm.
But your reaction to that, doesn't it seem so mythic and Lords of the Ring type?
No, that movie was awesome, and I was just the whole culture itself is very, very interesting, but I was just never in it for that. I genuinely just like talking to people, and it just I guess just hip hop was where I was supposed to end up or like have my start.
You know, one thing I noticed also watching like your reels, your sizzle reels and your demo reels.
I need to update that because I haven't updated it since 2014.
I'm going to talk about the specific one where you have a lot of guys a little bit aggressively attracted to you.
Yeah.
Since that reel, do you find that? Well, I mean, where's your frame of mind when someone does that to you? Do you find it both complimentary and like, yo, be professional, or how do you react to that now? At this stage, because it's 2016 now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I've interviewed different people. Like the reel now that I'm working on looks so different from that one, but it's still the same. I think because I've changed the concept of it. I do a lot of inspirational videos on my own YouTube. So now
church notes.
Yeah, so I've been trying to blend in the inspirational and the artists I've interviewed. So now we do life lessons. So there's not really any room to really hit on me because it's all inspirational stuff. But if I do a random interview, it still happens, but I don't take any offense to it. And especially the people that I've that I've interviewed over and over again, it doesn't happen anymore. It's just that, like
they've gotten,
first interview. Yeah.
They've gotten like the vibe.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this is pro here.
Yeah. But that's what's so great about it, because there's even some people where I could, if I see them at some event or if I call or text them, it's completely like no one trying to hit on me or anything, because it's like that's already been established. So that's why I know it's time for me to start building outside of hip hop now, because anyone in hip hop or anyone I've interviewed, like I know they have my back. So now it's like, okay, now the challenge is who else can I get like on my team that's outside of hip hop, because eventually I want to have my own show where I could interview all these people, and then by the time my show comes, I have a whole season where I could be like, okay, I'll call so and so, so and so and so and so, and then they'll do it. So that's my plan.
I think it's great that younger people are encompassing that. Mm-hmm. Like Sirius XM, where I worked for the longest.
Yeah.
It's always been pop culture, but deeper.
Yeah.
Right? So you can interview an adult entertainer, a director for a music video, a boxer.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, right? So I assume that's the lines or lineage of interest where you're headed to.
Yeah, and I think because I don't have my style of interviews are literally just regular conversations, so that's why it works for anybody. So I know in the future what people can look forward to are seeing different faces now, but doing the same concept, because life lessons, it's exactly what it is. It's a life lesson. So I want these different quote unquote celebrities to tell me what's a life lesson that you learned that you want to pass along to your fans, or a struggle you went through. That's inspiring whether you're a fan of that person or not. But the reason I did it is because these artists have such a big platform. So to do something positive and have them push that out. No, I'm sure there's other hosts and shows that do something that's some kind of inspirational, but because I do that outside of my interviews, and I've been doing that since 2009, it works so perfectly, and I don't think anyone else is doing that kind of concept, and I think that's why they enjoy the interviews.
Right. Do you think people need that more inspiration? Because for my time, where we sought inspiration is for people who are far more established and like already on the downward product life cycle of their career. In other words, like it would be, I don't know. I can't even, like, if it were Michael Jackson now speaking, assuming he was alive. Yeah. If it were Prince. Yeah. Assuming he was alive. But it seems like for this era, they find comfort and inspiration from their peer.
Yeah. And I think that, it's sad because our generation is so, especially because of social media, you think that you have to have a certain following or have some kind of status or a blue check mark or whatever to actually do something with your life. But that's not true at all. And I think that a lot of people like around my age or younger, they're so afraid to do what they really want to do, but they just base it off of like what you said. They base it off of the celebrities they look up to and think, how will I ever get to who's like big, like a Kendrick status or a Bieber status when it comes to music? But it's like, do you think that they were just born like that and then they just got that status just because, where it's they need to, people only relate to what they can relate to. So you can't really relate to someone who's already on that level, but you can relate to someone who is your age and shows you like you can really make this happen. And that's why I'm very open about my story and what I go through. And when people ask me, it's funny. I have this Ask Jen series, and someone asked me, he's like, when you're starting a blog or your brand, how do you target your audience initially? Is it by associating with a bigger blog? And he's like, what did you do? And I was like, I got 62 friends in college. Let me go on their Facebook and send my page to all of their friends. I'm like, that's how I got my audience initially. I'm like, there's no formula of association. I'm like, you need to get creative, but it's like you work with what you have, and then it expands out of that. When I first started my blog, I was only getting 30 views, and that was probably just my family and my friends, but your family and friends end up sharing things, and when you're consistent, it ends up working out. And that's what I like. I feel like I can relate to this generation because I am this generation, and it's just, it's really being open about the journey of it and telling them real answers, not just work hard and then you'll
surface,
get there.
The surface.
I'm like, no, I'm going to tell them weird answers, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and it inspires them even more. So I think they definitely need that.
So, I do a show on Sirius. I do a lot of stuff for people who don't pay for Sirius to, expand my audience. Yeah. I'm finding, as almost like your uncle, because I'm 40 and you're 25 and I'm half flipped too. The hustle is hard for relationships. Yeah. It's absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. How has your hustle affected your relationship or
Like
your love life?
I would say so. In college, I was dating someone for like all throughout college, but that was when I was first starting. So I feel bad. I'm actually my ex-boyfriend. I'm not gonna say his name, but my ex-boyfriend. Sure. We're very.
What does his name rhyme like?
No, we're so
dark.
We're so we're so close. But it's funny because his family will always comment on my stuff on Facebook. They'll always repost my stuff, and like he's about to move in with his girlfriend now. He's very serious with the girl who came in, but it's like. We have such a great, like, that's really my friend. Like, I forgot we even dated. So that first relationship, that's fine. That was me building it. I feel bad because I was so focused on my career that I knew I wasn't ready for a relationship. No. And then when I came out here...
you may not be ever if you're trying to make it to the top.
Yeah. Well, I always thought that. But then I started dating someone that was within the industry, not a rapper or anything, because I know everyone's thinking, it's a rapper. Who is it? But it's like I dated someone that's within the industry, so he understands it. We're both in two different fields, so it's nice to have someone that actually like understands the, so it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's just I don't know what's going to happen with my love life because there's so many things I still want to do, but I know that people always ask me, do you want to date within the industry or outside of it? And right now my answer is within it because I've had both, and dating someone who is in the industry is way easier, but someone in the industry who's not on what the typical like entertainer is on. Like I would never just date people because I know what goes on. So it's just very rare to find someone that's not like that.
So that has shaped your preference.
Yeah, because it's hard to explain, what it is you're trying to do with someone who, like I'm not saying that anyone's job is better than other, but I'll never understand what it's like to work for like a bank or in the medical field. I'll never understand that. Every job is hard, but it's like I can't relate to that because I can't relate, whereas the guy's not going to be able to relate to what I do in like this hip hop and this entertainment industry unless he's experienced it himself. So I feel like in college when it was like, oh, the interview's scheduled at 10 o'clock, but I'm not gonna, the interview ends up not happening until 1 a.m. It's like from the outside looking in, that looks shady if you don't understand it, because it's like you said 10 o'clock.
The trust wasn't there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I definitely prefer to date someone that understands that the industry, or I hate even calling it the industry.
Well,
but you know what I mean.
It is what it is, because one of my better relationships has come from a fellow overnight DJ.
Okay,
from satellite radio, because she gets it. If I have to do press, or if I have to just be somewhere, just to help expose the station.
Yeah, and then when again, like if you don't understand where the person is coming from, it's hard to explain it. So I haven't dated someone that was not in the industry, and I just, who knows, like whether it will work out or not, because when I did before, it didn't, just because it was hard to explain. So I don't really know, but right now it's someone who's in the industry but is not like a whore, basically. Like to say. Exactly. So yeah.
I know you have limited time, so.
Oh no, I'm good. What time do I have to? I'm picking my dad up at the airport, actually.
Okay.
He's literally visiting he has like a reunion from, I don't know, college or high school. They're all here somewhere.
All drinking San Miguel beer and playing golf somewhere.
So we just have this dinner, but no, I'm good. I probably don't have to leave until like 4:15.
Okay, cool.
So we're good. Yeah.
This is something I'm adjusting to. So you are my conduit, my little niece-like figure.
Okay.
Okay. I notice a lot of girls, even though if they're dating someone, they do not post pictures of their boo.
Yeah.
Is that a status thing for attracting?
I mean, there's some who probably don't post, absolutely. And I think it's not even just girls. I think males and females don't post who they're dating, but there's different reasons. There's some that don't post it because they're still hoeing around and they can't put themselves out there like that, so they want to be private. But then there's some who really are protective of their relationship. All the years that I've been doing this, I've never once posted a boyfriend. I think in college I did it, but that was when I didn't really start my career. But ever since my first interview I ever did, I have not posted anyone I was dating, but not because I'm hiding anything or like double dating or anything. It was just more of, I don't want to put anything out there, because you know when you put your relationship out there, if you guys break up, it's so obvious you broke up, because you end up erasing all your stuff and all your WCW. Yeah, and it's like you erase it and you already told the whole world. So I'm not posting anyone until I know we're really serious, and you know, and it's just, that's why I don't do it. So it's not because it's just more like, if I'm gonna put you out there, even though I don't have like 1 million followers or whatever, it's my reputation right now is everyone thinks they're like, oh, you've just probably never dated or you've been single, but I haven't. I have dated, so I haven't been single my entire career. I just chose not to put it out there, because to me, I don't want the whole world to know about something that will be irrelevant later. Because it's like, I feel like with girls too, you're only allowed to post a certain amount of people you dated in your lifetime or else, you know?
The girls' rules, okay? Yeah, okay, I'm learning this.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I mean, like I said, I have no problem doing it as long as I know like this is serious. But if it, you know, like I'm not gonna just post it just cause I'm like, and I haven't had that problem. But you know,
like I would troll Jamie Maggio. She's a reporter for Time Warner Cable and the Lakers.
Oh, okay.
So attractive.
Yeah.
But the moment she like posts pictures of her boyfriend, it's like,
she like got unfollowed.
I'm not looking at your pictures.
Yeah,
anymore.
There's, you know,
the fantasies died.
Yeah, and sadly, like that is also what can happen. I used to joke about it all the time. I'm like, I wonder how many people would not follow me anymore if I posted a boyfriend. like how many negative likes would I get because I just never posted. But like you said, it's a whole like fantasy type thing.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how much of that is the lineage of your parents' upbringing, knowing to not post, or how much is that an effect, EFFECT, of interviewing all of these?
No, mine's my career. It has nothing to do with my parents and not posting. It's completely
it's all based off experience.
Yeah, it's just I've literally never posted anyone since I started doing interviews, so I don't even know what that would be like when I do it. So when I do, I'll let you know what happens. But yeah, no, it's really just I don't want to put anyone out there unless it's okay. This is like who I'm gonna marry and shit. So I don't want to put like just anyone, you know.
So for someone starting up, like if they're an entry level or if not at a busy intern level, would you recommend them not to post then?
Like as far as if it'll affect their job?
Sure.
Oh no, I don't think.
Or following.
No, I don't look at it as that at all. It's completely a personal matter and has nothing to do with my professional side. It's really more of that. It's just because of what I do. I just don't want to, especially like I said, even though I don't have 1 million followers, the people who do follow me, I mean, some of them are like the artists, and not that it matters. It's just I don't want to post like say I was dating, if I posted the person from college, and then if I posted, you know, it's just like girls are looked at as like, oh, you just, it's just a new like MCM or new, because that's how I look at it. When I see a girl post someone and then I see like a month later everything's deleted and they post someone else, it's like everyone pays attention to social media, so it's like you can just tell all of that. And I just don't want to put my relationship and my love life out there until it's like, okay, this is what it is. Yeah.
So as we close, let's talk about live video. Okay. Let's break it down, what it is as a service.
So live video is, I don't want to call it social media, but it's a way to connect with your favorite celebrities on a different level. So on the celebrity side, you can only broadcast and benefit from the platform if you have 50,000 followers or if you're verified. But anyone can view your content, but it's a monthly subscription type thing. But the way that the celebrities are using it is we have some of them, you know, FaceTiming their fans because they get like that actual data. So it's more of giving it real interaction between the fans and the celebrities, because only their top fans are going to pay for some kind of monthly thing. Okay. But what they get for, it's 99 cents, but what they get for that 99 cents is that celebrity will call or FaceTime you, and they're going to be shooting like different kind of content. They have their own chat room, so it's more engagement with and being more intimate with their fans versus to a mass of Instagram, Twitter. There's so many. Like, imagine trying to reach out to your favorite celebrity on Instagram. They have millions of followers. They're not going to see your comment or wherever versus live video. It's like this is for your top fans.
So it is niche. It is an actual niche.
Yeah.
In that sense. Where can the listeners follow you? Get a hold of live video.
So you can get live video in the App Store, Google Play. So we're available on there. Okay. So you can get that on there. And then as far as reaching out to me, so for live video, I answer there immediately because, like I said, these are people who are paying for that interaction, that exclusivity. So I answer there before I answer everywhere else. But then other than that, I mean, my socials are just my name, just Jen _Deleon.
You didn't have, okay, so you had to put an underscore. Yeah. Because I'd imagine.
Yeah. So Jen _Deleon. And then, on my website, I mean, I check everything, so I have my email form on there and everything, so they can reach out through there too.
Maybe one day I can go to your office and we can do a long form.
Yeah, I'm down.
Because I like getting to know the next era.
Yeah, no, anytime you want.